There is a strength that refuses to break, refuses to bend, refuses to bargain. And the samurai of feudal Japan mastered exactly how to forge this strength within themselves. Have you ever heard the legends of the ancient samurai? Tales of their iron discipline, their raw power, their fearless courage, and above all, their unbreakable spirit or unyielding will. The Japanese have a word for this, Hagane no Ishi, the will of steel. But there's a truth most people overlook. Hagane no Ishi is not something you're born with. It's a forging process, literally like steel being hammered, heated, cooled, and hammered again until it becomes indestructible. The samurai spent centuries refining this method. They called it Bushido, the way of the warrior. And it wasn't just about combat. It was about forging a spirit that could withstand anything, fear, pain, even death itself. The will is inseparable from the spirit. Those with a weak spirit have a weak will, they shatter at the first challenge. But those with a strong spirit fight until the very end, until the last drop of blood, sweat, and tears. Today, you'll discover exactly how the samurai built this unbreakable will. Before we begin this journey, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below, I will build a will of steel. This shows your commitment to the transformation and helps me keep bringing you more of this content. I also want to take a moment to thank every single one of you watching, subscribing, and commenting, whether it's words of encouragement, sharing your own journey of change, your goals for improvement, or even asking for help in a specific area. I read as many comments as I can and genuinely want to support you in growing in any part of your life. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, let's return to the story. Chapter 1. The Collapse. This is the story of Marcus. Marcus is a 34-year-old entrepreneur who built a tech startup from nothing. Over 5 years, he sacrificed everything, relationships, health, sleep, his entire life, for the business. And it worked for a while. The company grew rapidly. Investors came in. The team expanded. Marcus was living the American dream. Until it all collapsed. A larger competitor released a product that made his obsolete. 2 major investors pulled out. The team started jumping ship. And for the first time in his life, Marcus didn't know what to do. He had always been the problem solver, the optimist, the leader. But now, sitting alone in his empty office at 2 a.m., he realized something terrifying: he had no idea who he was without success. His entire identity had been built on winning. And now that he was losing, he was coming apart. Anxiety hit first, then insomnia, then full panic attacks. Within 2 weeks, he couldn't make even basic decisions. His mind simply shut down. The pressure had broken something inside him he never knew could break. That's when his mentor, a half-Japanese, half-American investor named James Watanabe, noticed the collapse. James had spent years in Japan training in a traditional dojo. And he said something Marcus would never forget: you don't have a business problem. You have a problem of spirit. You built your house on sand. Now that the tide has risen, you're discovering there is no foundation. Marcus didn't understand at first, but James continued: the samurai had a principle: their spirit must be stronger than any external circumstance. They called it Hagane no Ishi, the will of steel. And they had a specific system to forge it, not through success or daily achievements, but through something far deeper. Chapter 2. The Principle of Fire. James brought Marcus to a traditional Kenjutsu dojo hidden in a nondescript basement in the city center. The master was a 70-year-old man named Tanaka-sensei, a direct descendant of a samurai lineage. The first thing Tanaka said to Marcus wasn't about sword technique. It was about steel. He held an ancient katana in his hands. Do you know how steel is made? Ordinary iron is weak. It breaks easily. But when you heat iron to 1,500 degrees, add carbon, hammer it repeatedly, quench it in water, and repeat the process over and over, you create something entirely different. You create steel that can cut through anything and never break. He pointed at Marcus. Your spirit is iron right now, soft, fragile. The first real pressure deformed it. Bushido is the process of turning iron into steel, but you cannot skip the fire. Marcus had hoped for some meditation technique or mental exercise he could add to his routine. Tanaka laughed. You're still thinking about adding things. Bushido isn't about adding more. It's about removing everything weak until only what is indestructible remains. Over the next few weeks, Marcus discovered that Bushido wasn't a motivational philosophy. It was a brutal system of deconstructing and reconstructing one's identity. The first principle Tanaka taught was called Shin, the principle of right spirit. And it began with something Marcus had never done, facing the very thing he feared most. Chapter 3. Facing the Void. What do you fear most? Tanaka asked in their first session. Marcus started talking about losing the business, losing money, letting people down. Tanaka shook his head. No, that's what you think you fear. What do you really fear? Marcus fell silent. The question cut deeper than he expected. Tanaka waited, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes of uncomfortable silence. Finally, Marcus spoke, his voice breaking. I'm afraid of being nobody. Of being ordinary. Of being forgettable. Tanaka nodded slowly. Now we're getting closer to the truth. You've built your entire life running away from this feeling. All the success, all the work, all the ambition, it was all to prove you're not this thing you fear you are. And what happened when the success disappeared? The fear returned because you never faced it. You just covered it with achievements. The samurai had a specific practice for this. They called it memento mori, long before the Stoics popularized it in the West. Every samurai meditated daily on their own death, directly confronting the greatest human fear, complete annihilation. When you face death every day, minor problems lose their power over you. Losing money? You're going to die anyway. Losing status? You're going to die anyway. Failing publicly? You're going to die anyway. When we live with the awareness that one day we will leave, we make far more of our time. We seek to build something truly concrete, something that lasts beyond the material, something that spans generations. Tanaka gave Marcus an exercise that seemed insane at first. Every morning, before doing anything else, sit in silence for 20 minutes and visualize his own end in vivid detail. Imagine his body failing. Imagine the world continuing without him. Imagine that nothing he built matters in the end. Marcus found this depressing. But Tanaka explained, you find it depressing because you're avoiding it. A samurai doesn't avoid it. He faces it. And when you face death enough times, it stops controlling you. Chapter 4. The Practice of Fire. The first week was psychological hell. Every morning, Marcus sat and forced himself to visualize the end. And every morning, his mind fought back with every excuse possible. This isn't healthy. You're wasting time. You should be working on the business. But he kept going. And something strange happened in the second week. The fear began to lose its intensity, not because he was distracted from it, but because he was actually looking at it. When you stare directly at any fear for long enough, it loses the mystical power it once held. The anxiety about the business was still there, but now it seemed smaller. Because compared to total annihilation, losing a business was manageable. The samurai understood something profound about fear. You can't control whether you feel it, but you can control whether it controls you. A Stanford neuroscientist who has studied fear responses for 18 years discovered something fascinating. When you repeatedly expose your brain to a fearful stimulus in a controlled environment, the amygdala, the part responsible for fear, literally decreases its reactivity. The brain learns the stimulus is not a real survival threat. This is the mechanism behind exposure therapy. But Tanaka didn't stop at the fear of death. He went deeper. You've faced physical annihilation. Now face social annihilation. He explained the second principle of Bushido, Jin, benevolence through strength. But before you can achieve benevolence, you must eliminate the need for external validation. Samurai were trained from childhood to be completely indifferent to public opinion, not out of arrogance, but because a warrior who needs approval is a controllable warrior, and a controllable warrior is weak. Tanaka gave Marcus an absurd-sounding exercise: do something publicly embarrassing every week. Not something harmful or disrespectful, but something that deliberately invites judgment. Week 1, wear completely mismatched clothing in public. Week 2, sing loudly on a crowded subway. Week 3, dance alone in a busy square. Marcus resisted. This is ridiculous. How does this help my business? Tanaka was blunt: you still think your problem is the business. It's not. Your problem is that you can't exist without approval. You need people to think you're successful, smart, capable, and that makes you weak. Because when approval vanishes, and it always does, you crumble. A samurai can lose everything and remain intact because he derives his identity from nothing external. He is the steel, not the sword, not the armor, not the victory. The steel. Chapter 5. The Death of the Ego. Marcus performed the first exercise with extreme embarrassment. He left the house in a bright floral shirt, mismatched striped pants, and a ridiculous hat. Every glance on the street felt like a stab to his ego. His brain screamed, everyone is judging you. You look like an idiot. This is unnecessary. But he kept walking. After 30 minutes, he realized nothing happened. No one attacked him. No one insulted him. Most people didn't even care. And the ones who did, their opinions changed nothing in his life. The second week, he sang on a crowded subway. The embarrassment was even more intense. But he noticed something: the discomfort came entirely from him, not from other people. Most smiled. Some even recorded him. And when he stepped off the train, he was completely unharmed. The third week, he danced alone in the square. And for the first time, he felt something different: not relief, not comfort, but freedom. Freedom from needing anyone's approval. Freedom to exist exactly as he was without negotiation. Freedom to be judged and remain whole. The samurai called this mujo, impermanence. Everything is temporary. Approval is temporary. Disapproval is temporary. Success is temporary. Failure is temporary. The only permanent thing is the spirit you forge. Chapter 6. The Steel Test. Marcus was beginning to understand, but Tanaka wasn't finished. The third principle of Bushido was the most brutal: gi, righteousness through right action even when it costs everything. Do you know the difference between iron and steel? Tanaka asked, gripping the katana again. Iron bends under pressure. Steel holds its shape. An iron spirit does the right thing when it's convenient. A steel spirit does the right thing especially when it's not. But then he remembered something Tanaka had said: the real test of steel doesn't come when everything is working. It comes when the system collapses. Anyone can be disciplined when it's easy. Steel is disciplined when it's impossible. Marcus didn't do the 100 sword cuts, physically impossible. But he did 10 cuts while sitting on the bed. He didn't take the 3-minute cold shower, but he washed his face with cold water. He didn't meditate for 15 minutes, but he did 3 minutes. The form had been adapted, but not abandoned, and that made all the difference. Because the danger isn't having to adapt. The danger is using adaptation as an excuse to stop altogether. Once you create a gap, your brain learns that gaps are allowed, and gaps become the norm. The samurai had a simple rule: practice never stops. It can be modified, but never eliminated. Because the moment you allow a complete exception, you're no longer practicing Bushido, you're practicing expediency. In the channel's latest video, we addressed this very issue by telling the story of the young shinobi. Understanding this principle can change your game forever. I know people who live an all-or-nothing life, people who'd rather not do something than do it imperfectly. But understand this: perfection doesn't exist. While you waste time trying to be perfect, someone appears who may be less intelligent but is good at one thing: executing. So write down this principle and apply it to your life: 1 is always greater than 0. On the day you can't study for 2 hours, study for 1 hour, but never 0. On the day you can't practice for 1 hour, practice for 30 minutes, but never 0. This applies to everything in life. Chapter 10. The Inner Storm. On day 50, Marcus faced a different test. His business began showing signs of recovery. A new investor appeared. The remaining team was performing better. Things were looking up. And immediately his mind whispered, "You don't need this extreme discipline anymore. You've proven your point. You can relax now." This is what Tanaka called the poison of success, more dangerous than failure because it is more seductive. Failure is obvious. You know you need to change. But success fools you. It makes you think you can return to old habits because now you deserve to relax. Samurai understood that victory is the moment of greatest danger, Tanaka explained. That's when you stop sharpening the blade. And a blade that isn't sharpened eventually becomes dull. Marcus almost fell into this trap. For 3 days, he considered taking a break from his routine, sleeping until 6 a.m., skipping the sword cuts, going back to comfortable hot baths. But he remembered why he had started. It wasn't about saving the business. It was about forging a spirit that wouldn't break regardless of external circumstances. The business improving was irrelevant to the practice. The practice existed independently of results. This is Higei no Ishi. Will of Steel doesn't depend on winning or losing. It exists as an unchanging constant. Chapter 11. The Moment of Truth. Day 73. Marcus faced the ultimate test. The investor who had shown interest disappeared. Another team member resigned. And to top it all off, he received a call. His father had been hospitalized with a serious heart condition. Marcus needed to travel immediately to another state. Hospital. No routine. No structure. Completely outside the controlled environment he had built over the past 2 months. His mind offered the obvious solution: obviously, you can't keep up the practice right now. This is a real emergency. Family comes first. You can pick it up when you get back. But something had changed in Marcus. He was no longer negotiating. In the hospital hallway while his father was in surgery, he made invisible sword cuts with his hands, memorizing every movement. In the hospital room bathroom, he splashed cold tap water on his face for 3 minutes. It wasn't perfect, but it was continuous. And for the first time in his life, Marcus fully understood what Tanaka had been trying to teach: practice doesn't serve circumstances. Circumstances serve practice. A samurai doesn't train for the day of battle. He trains because he is a samurai. The battle is irrelevant. Identity is permanent. Chapter 12. The Silent Transformation. Day 100 arrived without fanfare. No dramatic celebrations. Marcus simply woke up at 4:30 a.m., did his practice, and continued with his day. But something had changed. He was no longer the person who had entered the dojo 100 days ago. The business still faced challenges, but Marcus was no longer crumbling under pressure. When problems arose, he simply faced them: no drama, no emotional breakdown, just action. Tanaka called Marcus for one last talk at the dojo. You have completed your first 100-day cycle. Do you now understand what Higei no Ishi is? Marcus thought before answering. It's not about not feeling. It's about acting correctly regardless of how you feel. Tanaka nodded. Partially correct, but there's something deeper. He looked directly at Marcus. You have a decision to make about your business, and I know you've been avoiding it. Marcus swallowed hard. Tanaka was right. He'd known for weeks he needed to fire his co-founder, who was also his best friend since college. His friend wasn't performing. He was unmotivated. He was dragging the company down. But Marcus had avoided the conversation because he was his best friend. How do you tell someone who built everything with you that they're no longer part of the project? You're putting emotional comfort above righteousness, Tanaka said. That's iron. Iron bends when pressed. You're crushing your integrity to avoid discomfort. Steel doesn't negotiate. Steel does what must be done, regardless of the personal cost. And until you learn that, you'll keep cracking under pressure. The samurai had a concept called giri, duty above feeling. It doesn't mean being cold or cruel. It means when you know what the right action is, you do it, even if the process is painful. A samurai who saw his lord committing injustice had a duty to confront him, even knowing it might cost his life, not because it was easy, but because it was right. Marcus spent 3 days agonizing over the decision. Every time he picked up the phone to schedule the meeting, his mind made 1,000 excuses. Maybe he'll get better. Maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe I can wait another month. But on the 4th day, he remembered steel. Steel doesn't negotiate. Steel holds its shape under pressure. He set up the meeting. Chapter 7. The Impossible Conversation. The conversation was one of the hardest things Marcus had ever done. His friend didn't react well. There was anger. There were accusations. There was the destruction of a 12-year friendship in 45 minutes. Marcus left that room feeling beaten, emotionally destroyed, wondering if he had done the right thing, wondering if it was worth it. But when he arrived at the dojo that night, Tanaka looked at him and simply nodded. "Do you feel the pain?" "Yes." "Good. That means you have heart. But you did what needed to be done anyway. That means you have a spirit of steel. Iron avoids pain. Steel accepts pain as the cost of maintaining integrity. You were forged today, and now you know you can do impossible things." The samurai understood that courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear. And integrity isn't doing the right thing when it's easy. It's doing the right thing especially when it destroys you inside. This is Higain no Ishi. Will of steel doesn't mean not feeling. It means feeling everything and acting correctly anyway. Chapter 8. Daily Practice. But Tanaka knew that heroic moments don't build an unshakable spirit. Daily discipline does. The 4th principle of Bushido, Rei, respect through ritual. And here was the secret Marcus hadn't expected: samurai didn't rely on motivation. They relied on form. Do you know why ceremonies exist? Tanaka asked as he prepared tea with precise, deliberate movements. Because form creates substance. When you repeat a form correctly every day, eventually you become the form. He explained that samurai woke up at the same time every day. They performed the same practices in the same order because they understood that discipline cannot depend on how you feel. Marcus had tried routines before, but he always broke them when he didn't feel like it. Tanaka laughed when he heard this. Feeling like it is irrelevant. Do you think samurai always felt like training in the freezing winter? They did it because it was the way. And the way doesn't negotiate with feelings. Tanaka created a specific form for Marcus, not just meditation, but a complete sequence: 4:30 a.m. wake up, no negotiations. 15 minutes visualization. 100 perfectly formed wooden sword cuts. 3-minute cold shower. Breakfast prepared with undivided attention. After all this, the work began. You're going to do this for 100 days straight, Tanaka said. No exceptions. No negotiation. Sick, traveling, tired, it doesn't matter. The form continues. Marcus started arguing about flexibility and balance. Tanaka cut him off. Do you want steel or iron? Iron is flexible. It bends. It deforms. Steel is rigid. It holds its shape. You've spent 34 years being flexible. How's it working for you? Now, I'll open a parenthesis to explain this point better. There are several videos on the channel talking about the importance of flexibility, including the recent one about shinobi discipline, which touches on flexibility when facing adversity. When I say not to be flexible here, I'm referring to those who always make excuses to procrastinate, always searching for the perfect routine, the best time to train, the perfect workout, the perfect study technique. There are people who negotiate so much with themselves that they never get anywhere, they stay stuck in an endless cycle. Let me tell you a secret: there is no perfect moment for anything. There is only now. While we wait for the perfect moment, someone else is executing, giving their best under the conditions they have. This is having a will of steel. It's waking up and saying, I will make it happen no matter how many obstacles I face. This was exactly what Master Tanaka was trying to convey to Marcus. The first week was a psychological war. Every day at 4:30 a.m., the alarm would go off and Marcus' mind would start negotiating. You only slept 5 hours. You need rest. One day won't make a difference. But Marcus remembered the steel. Steel doesn't negotiate. Feet on the ground. Movement. The cold shower was torture for the first few days. His body would literally freeze before he even got in. But he understood something profound. The discomfort of the cold shower lasted exactly 3 minutes. But if he avoided it, the discomfort of breaking his form would last all day. On day 7, something small but significant happened. He woke up 2 minutes before his alarm. His body was beginning to adapt. On day 14, the sword cuts that had seemed endless the first week now flowed naturally. The body had memorized the form. On day 21, he realized he was no longer mentally negotiating every morning. He simply woke up and did it. The process was becoming automatic. A behavioral researcher at the University of Oxford who has studied habit formation for 15 years explains, discipline isn't a finite resource you expend. It's a muscle you strengthen through repeated use. When you remove negotiation from a habit through automation, you free up massive mental energy for other areas of life. The samurai understood this intuitively centuries before modern science confirmed it. Chapter 9. The collapse of the system. But on day 32, everything fell apart. Marcus caught a severe fever of 39 degrees Celsius. His body was completely exhausted. He woke at 4:30 a.m. and for the first time physically couldn't get out of bed without feeling like he would faint. His mind jumped to a legitimate excuse: you're sick. No one would expect you to do the practice today. Rest. He picked up the katana again. Do you know how long it takes to forge a real katana? The blacksmith heats the steel, hammers it, bends it, heats it again, hammers it again, over and over. Why? Because every time you heat and hammer, you remove impurities. In the beginning, the steel is full of weaknesses, air bubbles, carbon inconsistencies, structural flaws. But each cycle removes more weaknesses until in the end nothing weak remains. Just pure steel, indestructible. He looked at Marcus. These 100 days didn't make you strong. They removed what was weak. Your fear of death, removed through daily confrontation. Your need for approval, removed through deliberate exposure. Your tendency to avoid discomfort, removed through daily non-negotiable practice. You didn't build a new spirit. You revealed the spirit that has always been there beneath all the weaknesses. Chapter 13. The True Meaning. Hage no Ishi isn't about becoming something you're not, Tanaka continued. It's about removing everything that isn't you until only the essential remains. And the essential is indestructible. Samurai were not superhumans. They were humans who had removed everything superfluous, unnecessary fear, fragile ego, dependence on external circumstances. What remains is what was always there, a spirit that cannot be broken because there is nothing breakable in it anymore. Marcus felt the weight of those words. He had spent his entire life trying to become more successful, more recognized, stronger. But Bushido wasn't about addition. It was about subtraction. It wasn't about becoming more. It was about becoming less weak, less fragile, less dependent. So what do I do now? Marcus asked. Tanaka smiled. Now you keep going. Because Hage no Ishi isn't a destination. It's a perpetual process. You never finish removing weaknesses. There are always more layers. There's always more work. But the difference is that now you know you can. You've proven to yourself for 100 days that you can face anything and keep going. That certainty changes everything. A clinical psychologist at Yale who has studied resilience for 20 years discovered something fascinating. true confidence doesn't come from positive affirmations or visualizing success. It comes from empirical evidence that you can handle adversity. Every time you face something difficult and survive, your brain registers, "I can handle this." Repeated enough times, this becomes an unshakable core belief. Now, you might be thinking this is one of those stories where everything works out in the end. But that's not what happened. 6 months later, Marcus' business failed completely. The investment didn't come through. The team disbanded. He had to close the doors. And for the first time in his life, he was okay. Not happy, not relieved, but intact. He had lost the business, but he hadn't lost himself. Because the business was never what defined him. He was the steel, not the sword, not the armor, not the victory. The steel. And steel does not break. 3 weeks later, he started a new project, without the drama, without the anxiety, just clear, deliberate action. The practice continued, visualization, training, cold showers, tea. Not because it would save the new business, but because he was who he was now. People around him began asking, "How are you so calm after losing everything? How did you not collapse?" The answer was simple: I was forged. There is a secret about Hagain no Ishi: the process never ends. You never reach a point where you can say, "That's it. I'm indestructible now." Because life will always find new ways to test you. The difference is that now you know you can be tested and not break. And that certainly changes absolutely everything about how you move through the world. People start to sense this in you. It's not arrogance. It's something deeper. It's the presence of someone who can't be shaken because they've been through the fire enough times to know they can survive any temperature. It doesn't mean you don't feel emotion. It means emotion no longer controls you. And when you achieve that, you become the kind of person others look at and think, "How does this person not break?" The answer: they've already broken 1,000 times in the process of becoming unbreakable. So the question remains, do you want to be forged? Because Hagain no Ishi isn't for those who want quick results. It's not for those who want a comfortable 5-minute technique that will magically transform their life. It's for those who understand that real transformation requires destruction, destruction of every weak part, destruction of every comfortable excuse, destruction of every mental negotiation that keeps you small. The process is brutal. It will require you to wake up when every bone in your body wants to sleep. It will require you to face fears you've spent your entire life avoiding. It will require you to do the right thing even when it's not convenient. But in the end, you won't be the same person. You'll be steel. And steel doesn't break. The samurai spent centuries perfecting this process because they understood something fundamental: in a world of chaos, uncertainty, and inevitable suffering, the only thing you can truly control is the strength of your own spirit. You can't control whether your business will fail, whether people will disappoint you, whether life will knock you down. But you can control whether you'll get back up and whether you'll keep going. This is Bushido. This is Hagain no Ishi. This is what it means to have a will of steel and an unbreakable spirit. If this video helped you in any way, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss the next content. Remember, you don't need more motivation. You need fewer weaknesses. And the only way to eliminate weaknesses is by going through the fire. If you've watched this far, you've already taken the first step. Most people don't even get that far. But getting there is the easy part. The hard part is applying these teachings to your life. Start small, but never stop. Thank you very much for your attention. Until the next video.